You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mix with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
It's the refreshingly non-political podcast about everything else.
I'm Alan Ray, and I do this for free.
For millions of years, mankind lived just like the animals. And something happened, which unleashed the power of our imagination. We learned to talk.
I'm drowning. You never talk to me. No, I can't breathe now. What are you thinking? We're going nowhere. What are you feeling? We're going nowhere. Why won't you talk to me? You never talk to me. What are you thinking?
Here's your host, Alan Ray, and he does this for free.
It doesn't have to be like this. All we need to do is make sure we keep talking.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a special report. I'm Phallic Bones, coming to you live from the swamplands east of El Paso, Texas, where we've uncovered solid evidence that the globalist elites are turning the frogs gay using estrogen chemtrails and aspartame. Google frogs gay and chemtrails. It's dangerous just to be out here because it's the future side of the next Bilderberg Summit, and security's already tightening. Google tight security around elite swamp hole. But we're here to expose the corruption so we can win the info war and topple the elites in their attempt to take over the planet by using backdoor methods. Google globalists prefer rear entry. I don't have much time because Megan Kelly left something lacy in my truck with a note that says she's got a new world order to show me. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm on my third glass of male virility in case something pops up and we have to take care of the problem. Google man hasn't seen action in 5 years, desperate for attention. But I'm telling you, the turn of the frog's gay. It's horrible. Look at this little fella crawling up my leg. Can we get him off my leg, please? Can we get him off my leg? I haven't seen this kind of DNA manipulation since the New World Order created spider goats. The New World Order did this. We have to fight back. What's the frog doing on my leg? These are $50 jeans. This is disgusting. It's the New World Order behind all of this. I'm Phallic Bones. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program. You are the resistance!
It is the refreshingly non-political podcast about everything else. I am your humble host, Alan Ray, and guess what? It's Friday night. I am not at work, so this is live. Thank you for that special bulletin, Phallic Bones. Yeah, we'll take that into consideration. It is summertime, and for a few days there, we had some frog sounds as I was coming home from work. Not so much now because we've had a snowstorm, and actually the past couple nights, it's been kind of chilly. So the frogs are laying low. They're back in the dirt. They're back in the mud. Hi! So glad you're joining me. So glad. You know, really, honestly, it was just, I pulled into the driveway, and I'm like, oh boy. Do I do a show tonight, or do I just blow this off and do a rerun? No, I'm good. Let's do a show. We're doing all right. Things are happening. The world is turning round and round, and I want you to leave my show today just a teeny tiny little bit more knowledgeable than when you tuned in. I know doing things like what I just did at the beginning of the show doesn't help, but I don't really care. It's my show. So solar storms are traveling at 1.8 million kilometers per hour to hit the Earth on May 2nd, according to the Daily Express. A hole in the equatorial region of the sun's atmosphere has appeared, researchers have said. The hole is spewing solar particles at a speed of 500 kilometers per second, or 1.8 million kilometers per hour. Unfortunately for Earth, it is in the direct path of the stream of solar particles. Yep, we are the recipients of the money shot. It has been categorized as a G1 class storm, which can lead to weak power grid fluctuations and have minor impact on satellite operations. Don't you worry none, kids. It's not going to cause some kind of anomaly that knocks everything out and, makes half the population disappear like on one of those cheesy 70 weird sci-fi movies. Anyways, the gaseous material is flowing faster than 500 kilometers a second from the equatorial hole in the sun's atmosphere. It sounds like galactic sex or something. Anyways, some experts have warned a major solar storm is a matter of when and if, not if. Ever so often, the sun releases a solar flare, which in turn blasts energy into space. Some of these solar flares can hit Earth and for the most part are harmless to our planet. However, the sun can also release solar flares so powerful that they can cripple Earth's technology. And we know that. It's called the Carrington event. What happens if something like that does hit the... Yeah, that's right. JC in chat, money shot 2021, Earth Bukkake. That's right. You heard it here first on I Do This for Free. Yep, you're not going to get entertainment like this anywhere. Thank God. Anyways, yes, we know what a Carrington event is, and it is a when, not if. The last one happened in the kind of towards the end of the 1800s, and it caused all kinds of issues. We had basically cable. You know, we didn't have telephones, we didn't have things like that, cell phones, yada yada. We had Morse code operations and wires strung up down railroad tracks, and it still caught some of the Morse code little huts that they had to decode it. Caught some of those things on fire. Some of the wires burned down. There were some issues. If it happens today, we could have some major issues. Not a if, it's a when. And, you know, they got me thinking when I hit this, article that we really, I go back and forth. Okay. I'm going to put it to you this way. When it comes to things like EMPs, electromagnetic pulse, theory, and, Carrington events, which is a mass coronal injection from the sun where we get smacked upside the head as a planet with, all this radiation. And I have my own kind of set of theories after I've done some in-depth research, in-depth studies on this. A lot of people go, oh, it'll be the end of everything. Everything's going to stop. Everything's going to blow up. Nothing will ever work ever again. I disagree. The few things that I've disagreed on, and people don't really realize this, is the big three have done basically Carrington event type tests on a lot of their vehicles. And if you're driving a metal vehicle, it's got metal basically wrapping around the battery. Your computer may act a little weird, which, you know, they say like at the most on some of these cars, you may drive 50 miles and have to stop it, fire it back up again, drive 50 more miles because the computer is going to start acting wanky on you. People say, well, we won't be able to get around. Yeah, you have 2 feet, you have bicycles. Oh, and a lot of us have riding lawnmowers. Riding lawnmowers are basics. They're just like very basic. Yeah, some of them modern ones may have a computer in them, but 99% of them, you know, you go down and get the little cheapy $500 riding lawnmower from your local farm and fleet store. It doesn't have anything in it that can't just endure something like a Carrington event and still walk up there fired up. Make a few belt alterations on it, and you got something that'll go 20, 30 miles an hour fairly easily. We'll get through it. You know, I just have my own set of theories on this. I've read up with the whole solar flare thing. Yes, a lot of things like your cell phone, kiss it bye-bye. A lot of things like, I don't know, some of your cars, but your computers, your laptops, your tablets, things like that. A lot of that stuff, yep, gone, goodbye. A lot of other things, ham radios that, you know, are pretty much wrapped in steel inside of a house that, you know, if it's my house is old fashioned. I don't have a vinyl siding. I don't even think this is aluminum siding. I think this is metal siding. So I basically live in a Faraday cage. Yes. Cell phone signal doesn't get in or out. I mean, it's pretty obvious that this thing is pretty wrapped up tight. So there will still be some technology, but it will throw us back into probably the 70s, not the 50s, not the 40s. We won't be roasting our pets out on a spit, you know, and stuff like that. I do believe it'll cause a disruption. I do believe a electromagnetic pulse strike will cause a disruption, but I don't think it's going to be the event that a lot of people think it might be. It's going to be bad. It's going to be scary. You're going to have just millions and millions of teenagers up through 25-year-olds wandering around staring at the palms or a black blank screen on their cell phone, running into telephone poles, wondering what happened. It'll be like a zombie apocalypse more than anything. And if you're listening to this live, thank you so much for listening. If it's Friday night and it's April 30th, get in that chat room, www.klrnradio.com/chat. Join the guys in the chat room. We got Jeff, we got Artie, we got myself, we got Eric, we got JC, we got GR, we got Mike, and lurking about in the shadows. I think we got LL in there. Hi, LL. I see you lurking. There, she popped in. So welcome welcome to yet another edition, a live version of it. And I just wanted to throw that out there that yes, we are going to get bombarded. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was live again and everything was acting a little bit wanky, and I do this for free because I accidentally tapped into the repeater that allows me to access my internet from the back patio and not my main wireless system. And I was having like half of the speed of my internet, and it started getting really weird. But you don't hear that if you go back and listen to the podcast, because I actually record the podcast as I'm going live, and I just replaced it with something that you could actually listen to. So there you go. No worries. But this week, we have our collective doo-doo straightened out, and I think we're going strong. I think we're doing just fine today. And so welcome. And yeah, I've been studying that for quite some time. The things that worry me the most about coronal mass ejections and EMP strikes, things like that. The electric grid will take a beating. The power grid will take a beating. Now, the problem we're having with the power grid, and people have warned the government, both sides. This isn't, and if something like this happens, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing. Both sides have been warned. Both sides have been told you need to harden the electric grid or there will eventually be a big problem. And they've pretty much all but ignored it. They believe with all of their hearts that even if we have a EMP strike or a mass coronal ejection that takes all the power off, they can have it back online within a month to 2 months. I got an argument with that. And the problem is we could have changed it. We spend so much money, and I'm not going to get political, but there's talks of infrastructure. It wouldn't take a whole lot to harden the electric grid to the point where a coronal mass ejection that is going to happen eventually or an EMP strike, electromagnetic pulse strike. And I should just take a step back and explain, I get it in my head that, everybody knows what I'm talking about. A lot of people look at me and go, what are you babbling on about? An EMP strike basically is a nuke that is launched, a few miles up into the air over an area. When that nuclear projectile blows up, it basically fries all the electric components that aren't shielded. And I could go into the explanation, but look it up. Google it. Google is your friend. Look up electromagnetic pulse or EMP strike, and it'll explain what happens. It's kind of scary, and a lot of things are going to happen. It is going to set us back probably into the 70s. We are going to have to scramble to figure out technology. I think a lot of times you get the worst case scenarios. And I think a lot of times what these scientists don't take into consideration, and something that I've never seen them actually address that I think they should take into consideration, is the human factor in all of this. And Mike in chat, yes, I agree. Iran's aiming that for us. China has threatened us with an EMP strike. That is a possibility. A mass coronal ejection from the sun is a definite. That is going to happen again eventually. It's happened before. It's happened a few times in history. It will happen again. We can do things diplomatically or, mutually assured destruction type things to keep people from actually firing a nuke into our atmosphere. But that's what EMP strike is. But something from the sun, we can't stop. We can't negotiate with the sun. We can't threaten the sun. And we've known that these things happen, and we're just waiting for the next one. But anyways, yes. You ever get a chance to bend your representative or congressperson's ear? Ask them, say, hey, how's it going with hardening our electric grid in case something like this happens? We want to know. That being said, there are some things you can do to have some electronics if this happens. There are what they call Faraday bags, Faraday cages. If you don't have a Faraday bag, Faraday cage, you want to store some electronics that are near and dear to you, like a radio, a shortwave radio that gets all the way down into the lower frequencies, because lower frequencies will travel globally where higher frequencies do not. And have something that's a shortwave radio. If you don't want a Faraday bag, you can get like one of those old metal garbage cans with the metal lids, wrap everything in tinfoil, put it inside the metal garbage can, put the lid on. It'll pretty much be protected. You can probably have a computer, although there's not going to be internet, you'll still have a computer. You can have a couple of radios. You can have CBs, or little walkie-talkies, little family frequency radios. If you are a ham operator, yes, you can have some ham radios. I'm not the only one that thinks this way in the ham world. There's a lot of them out there that have things that are protected and ready to go. So communications will be slight, but they will be up and running. So there you go. Yes, aluminum foil is your friend. So yeah, and this is not something you lay awake at night and go, oh, what if there's an EMP strike? What if the sun spews out a coronal mass ejection and all the electronics fry? Don't waste your time worrying about this. Live your life. But just realize things like that could happen, and maybe take a few precious electronics, communication devices, things like that, things that can be revived real quickly. I also recommend a solar charger for your electronics in case the electricity really does go out because they haven't hardened the electric grid. Put those in with it. A decent little solar charger that can all be revived. Remember, disconnect batteries, take batteries out of things, keep them in there. And when something happens, well, you still got a few electronics. That's how it goes. So yeah, that's your borderline conspiracy theory for the day. It's not really a conspiracy theory. Like I said, coronal mass ejections from the sun happen. We know they happen. They've been happening pretty much since the beginning of time. They will happen again. It's like every 100, 150, 200 year thing. We're way overdue. Way overdue. So yeah, you just got to know that that's out there, and a little bit of prep up front, a little bit of preparation up front, is going to save a lot of pain and agony later on. And I worry about a lot of the things that are happening in this planet. And, a lot of the younger generations, they have no idea how to bring their own food out of the ground. And I shouldn't say none of them do. A lot of them do. A lot of them do. Not all of them. There's a huge number that, and we saw this with the riots last summer with those kids that set up the autonomous zone, and they were trying to plant a garden on top of basically a tarp with about an inch of dirt. And they just expected the seeds to pop up, spring forth with a bunch of veggies and stuff to feed the whole community. Oh boy. And I looked at that and I went, my gosh. And I kind of blame the parents. I was mean to my kids. I made them help me go out there in the garden and work a little bit, but at least they left my house knowing the basics of bringing a plant, taking a plant and bringing up your own vegetables out of the ground. It's not that difficult, but it does take some work, and you can't just throw a seed out there and go, oh, it's going to grow now. There is some techniques to it, especially bringing a lot of food up out of the ground. And it's just a lost event. And it's something that's been on my mind. And I actually spent some time pondering about, we've reached an intelligent peak. And at the same time, we've reached an ignorance valley almost simultaneously. We have a certain segment of society that has just supercharged their minds. We have some of the most incredible inventions now. We have some of the most incredible medicines now. Some of the most incredible, techniques. We're planning on going to Mars. We're planning on colonizing the moon. And at the exact same time, we bear witness to some of the most incredible stupidity. And we have forces out there trying to dumb everybody down to the lowest common denominator. And it really does boggle your mind to sit there and think about it. Because, being the cynic that I am, my first thought is, well, the whole world is going to go to hell soon. It's not really. There is a big portion that is. But you look at the things that the news doesn't tell you, There are kids helping build homes for the homeless. There are kids, there are youth out there who went to college to learn the business part of farming so they can come back home and run the family farm. I see them every day. I see them out here every day. God bless these people. You know, it's awesome. For every youth that decided that they don't want to participate in society, that they think the world should hand them everything and they expect to be taken care of, there's more kids out there who are out there just go-getters, gung-ho. They're going to, and it makes me happy to know that these kids are out here doing things, relearning the basics, relearning how to survive on your own, relearning how to survive off the grid. There is a section of society, of youth, that are out there doing all these things. They, I believe, will save us. Not the ones that go around marching with signs, the hypocrites that walk around with modern day technology that, you know, they use to say that modern technology is bad. Not the ones that burn all kinds of fossil fuels going around saying that everybody else is ruining the planet. I'm talking the people that actually do things that are still educated, still very smart, very current, but yet don't lose the focus on what brought man up throughout the ages. Being able to grow your own food, hunt your own food, being able to build your own house, being able to make soap out of lye, out of ashes, things like that. There's a whole section of society out there that's like this. A lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people tend to ignore it. You don't hear about it in the media, but these kids are on the ball, and I'm rooting for them more than anything else. Wow. We're already down to the bottom of the hour. We're coming up on 27 minutes. I am going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to get back into the meat of the show. The things that I actually was going to talk about today, but I kind of went off on a rant. But you know what? My show, do what I want, my rules. Don't go anywhere. I'm Alan Ray. This is I Do This for Free, the refreshingly non-political podcast about everything else. Time to take a little bit of a break.
Listen now and don't forget, if you go for that solid jive, you can always keep the dream alive. Pallin' with Al.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Drive-thru. Now, can we please take your order? I don't want to be a flat earther, David Weiss said, his voice weary as he reflects on his personal awakening. Would you wake up in the morning and want everyone to think you're an idiot? But Weiss is a flat earther ever since he tried and failed to find proof of the Earth's curve 4 years ago. He believed that with an evident passion that our planet is both flat and stationary, and it's turned his world upside down. I absolutely freaked out, Weiss tells CNN in a phone interview. It literally whips the rug out from underneath you. Now, Weiss finds it tedious to associate with the majority of people, though he unfortunately still has some friends who believe in a round earth. I have no problem with anybody that wants to believe we live on a ball. That's their choice, he says. It's just not something I resonate with. Weiss's preferred community is those who share his life-altering belief. And that community is vast. This week, the businessman attended the 3rd annual Flat Earth International Convention held at the Embassy Suites Hotel in suburban Dallas, Texas. Organizers told CNN about 600 others went too. Previous conferences have taken place in Raleigh and Denver, while Brazil, Britain, and Italy have also held Flat Earth conventions in recent years. The events scheduled resemble any corporate conference with some fairly noticeable twists. Speakers gave presentations including Space is Fake and the Testing the Moon, a global lie perspective. Awards for the year's best flat earth related videos were handed out, and believers revealed that an opportunity to meet several of the movement's most influential minds. Remember, kids, the Flat Earth Society circles the entire globe. Wow, I can't believe people still believe that stuff. But here we are. In the United States, Volkswagen is in a lot of trouble. The United States Security and Exchange Commission has opened an inquiry into U.S. unit of Volkswagen's Attorney General over a marketing stunt which it falsely said it was changing its name in the United States to Volkswagen with a T. A person briefed on the matter confirmed. Spiegel first reported the inquiry and the SEC's request for information about the issue made in early April and quoted VW as confirming the investigation. Volkswagen declined to comment on the matters to Reuters, but the SEC did not respond to a further request for a comment. The stunt, which came just ahead of April Fool's Day on the first day of the month, when companies often release prank statements, was meant to call attention to its electric vehicle efforts, the car maker said. The initial statement outlining the name change posted on its website and accompanied by tweets was reported by Reuters and other outlets globally and included a detailed description of its purported rebranding efforts and new logos. In other words, a lot of people just can't take a flipping joke. I saw that tweet. It was hysterical. If you believed it, you're stupid. Of course, yeah, we got the SEC going on here, so there you have it. And Jeff in chat, yes, Jeff's son in chat says, A, what shape is the sun to those that think the earth is flat? And B, when did we first realize the sun and the moon were indeed round? Quite some time ago. That's a good questions, valid questions. Yeah, the whole flat earther thing, yeah. I got a dog on those people. I really do. It's just something that's in my blood. And especially if you get into ham radio, radio waves prove that the earth is round. And these people just ignore the whole thing. Radio waves, and let me just go back to the whole flat earth things. Radio waves bounce between the earth and the ionosphere and back. The higher up, the smaller the radio waves that are smaller and that are more directional do not get trapped by the ionosphere. They just go straight up into space. When you broadcast on a higher frequency, the higher frequency actually can go line of sight. It takes into consideration the curvature of the earth. That's where it ends. From that point on, it pretty much just shoots out into space. So there you go. That is living proof right there that the earth has a curvature. What did this guy do? Put a marble on the ground and say, oop, it's not rolling. The earth must be flat. Okay. Oh, you got to rip on him. What else is going on? Stonehenge. There was a Stonehenge breakthrough. Daily Express, Professor Mike Parker Pearson from the University College of London made a breakthrough in understanding the famed monument when he found a similar stone structure at Wan Mawn in the Preseli Hills. Experts now theorize that the dismantled monument in Wales became the building blocks of Stonehenge attraction that stands in Salisbury, Wiltshire. And incredibly, it could also shed light on why Stonehenge was built in the first place after presenter Adam Mistrelli investigated the link during the Smithsonian Secret Unlocked series. He said 1/3 of the people buried at Stonehenge were not from the local area or anywhere near. Instead, they had spent their lives more than 100 miles away, albeit in part of Britain with deep ties to Stonehenge. These remains belong to the people who came from the same part of Britain as the first stones to arrive at Stonehenge, the Blue Stones. Mike Parker Pearson is convinced it's no coincidence. Mr. Mistrelli explained the source of the Professor Pearson's suspicion. He added, he has been examining one of the pits situated around the edge of the circle where the cremated remains were originally buried. It's called Aubrey Hole number 7. He thinks its contents reveal a connection between the bones and the blue stones. Speaking during the series, Professor Pearson stated one of his theories on why Stonehenge was originally created. He said, in the bottom of Aubrey Hole number 7, the chalk had been crushed to powder. It had a very heavy weight on top of it, and the dimensions of these holes are exactly the same as those today that hold the blue stones at Stonehenge. The blue stones, they're almost like tombstones marking the place where human remains would be put. So they are absolutely fundamental associated with the dead. And Mr. Mistrelli explained how the monuments later developed and why it links back to Wales. In 2020, he stated Professor Parker Pearson believes that before they were moved to their current positions in the center, the Welsh bluestones stood in the Aubrey holes where the cremated remains were buried. If he's right, he may have confirmed the original purpose of Stonehenge. He believes that the landscape of Salisbury Plain was uniquely suited to the faith and ritual of Stone Age Brits. Looking at the site from above, a pair of parallel lines is visible, forming an avenue running straight towards the stone circle. Its Neolithic road was constructed at the same time as Stonehenge, and it lines up perfectly with the sun on the shortest day of the year. Just months later, his suspicions appeared to be confirmed during BBC's To Stonehenge, The Lost Circle Revealed documentary. Wan Mawn, that's hard to say, Wan Mawn is now being tipped as the original monument because it lies next to quarries where Stonehenge's smaller bluestones originated. Its perimeter ditch has the same diameter and is also aligned with the midsummer solstice sunrise. Professor Parker Pearson believed it is possible that people moving eastward were bringing their cultural, quote, crown jewels, unquote, with them from ancestral homeland in Wales. Archaeologists stated that this could explain why the bluestones used at Stonehenge were brought from so far away, while most circles are usually constructed within a short distance of their quarries. There you go. Stonehenge might have been unlocked. It's basically a graveyard. What this guy's saying. Kind of neat stuff. Yeah, you know, that would be me if I would have chosen a few different paths. I'd be down there digging around, messing around with stuff like that. Other things that'll freak you out quite a bit, the weird and the strange news. I reported on this a while back. Actually, at the beginning of this, of doing I Do This for Free. On Thursday morning, and this is recent, this is USA Today from today. On Thursday morning, workers from British company placed basketball-sized cardboard boxes into 6 yards in the Florida Keys. Then they added water. In a week or so, 12,000 male Aedes aegypti mosquitoes will be, one by one, begin buzzing out of each box. The first genetically modified mosquitoes to be released in the United States. Local officials argue the trial is necessary at a time when pesticides are increasingly ineffective against these dangerous pests. A 2016 vote on the project claimed a solid majority of support in most of the surrounding counties. At the end of the day, our hope is to be able to control this mosquito more efficiently and keep our population below any sort of disease transmission threshold, said Andrea Leal, executive director of the Florida Keys Mosquito District. Our toolbox for the Aedes aegypti control is shrinking, unfortunately, and that is making us think outside the box. They're releasing genetically modified mosquitoes. Don't they ever watch any of these horror flicks? We're going to have 10-foot tall mosquitoes in the Florida swamps next year. Just you wait and see. I get a bad feeling about this. There's been a lot of opposition to this test. And one of the person says, this is Dana Pearls, a program manager, says, when you disrupt an ecological system, whether it's a small disruption or a big disruption, you're going to have an impact. History has taught us time and time again that we need serious precautions with new genetic engineering experiments and technologies. Once you release this genetic material into the wild, you can't recall it. Male mosquitoes don't bite or cause disease, but females do, and nothing is better at finding female mosquitoes than male mosquitoes, Leal said. In this case, the aim is to use those released males to track down mates and lay eggs. The mosquitoes of both genders have been genetically modified so that any female offspring will die before reaching adulthood. With each successive generation, there will be fewer biting females. Eventually, the population will crash entirely. The insects have also been given a gene that fluoresces under certain lights, so scientists can easily identify and track descendants of the altered mosquitoes. Now, that could be good, that could be bad. And I reported on this at the beginning of I Do This for Free, probably about a year ago. When you screw around with an ecological system, you are taking the chance of destroying other systems. Bats, birds, all kinds of animals feed on mosquitoes. You would almost be better off releasing more of those into the wild than having them do their thing. I don't know. Speaking of more incredibly stupid news, McDonald's is giving out free McFlurries as an apology for people who confuse their spoons as straws. Oh, boy. JC in chat. I think they just created a race of gay mosquitoes. Alex Jones was right. You just had the wrong species. That's right, Jeff. If you've ever mistaken the McDonald's McFlurry spoon for a straw, well, you're an idiot. You're not alone. And this is according to People magazine. No wonder. McDonald's is apologizing for the spoon's confusing design, which includes a square hollow end at the top, but does not allow it to function as a straw, by giving away their new caramel brownie McFlurry for a limited time. They announced the promotion with a hilarious video of people reacting to the totally relatable flub on social media. While we can't change the iconic hollow spoon, we can help ease the sting of your facepalm upon figuring out how to use it, the company wrote in a statement. All right, let's back up a little bit. Okay. The spoon is a square. I've seen these spoons time and time again. Oh, McDonald's Flurries are the bomb. They're great. And they're cheap. A lot of times you can get them on sale. It doesn't look like a straw. And all you have to do is kind of keep your eyes open, your head out of your backside. Watch them make it. They shove this spoon up into the machine, and it's what stirs your McFlurry. And then they give it to you. Oh, my gosh. All right. Yes. Let's try not to be too cynical, and let's not put anybody down, Al, except for the flat earthers. You can do that. You're allowed. Yeah, that's the world we have now. That's the world we have. We have to give out free McFlurries because people can't tell the difference between a plastic spoon and a straw. God help us. Here we go. You ever hear about probiotics? Probiotics are necessary. Probiotics are the good bacteria in your gut. Probiotics are good for digestive tract, and if you're someone like me, years ago, because of stress, school, job, all the stuff crashing in on me, probably bad diet too. I had horrible ulcers, all kinds of problems. And let me just back up a little bit. If you are taking Prilosec or any of these other, what they call, basically the things that, the pills that you take for acid reflux, talk to your doctor and try to get yourself off of them if you can, if you're able to. They have linked these pills. A lot of people have been taking them for years and years and years. They've linked these pills to pancreatic cancer. They don't really advertise that a whole lot, but there are ways to get up. There are ways to naturally take care of your bacteria in your gut. There's ways. I personally, when I started studying the things, some of these digestive pills that you take, I was on Prilosec for like 5 years. Found out how bad they were. I started doing some studies and finding out that, and what got me off of it was mastic gum. And mastic gum basically does a really good job of destroying the bad bacteria in your stomach, increasing your stomach lining to make it, more resilient. And basically that cured the ulcers. When I stopped taking Prilosec, my body still thought that I was taking it. And of course it's trying to compensate, and it's just producing stomach acid like crazy. I was very, very sick for about a week. Licorice chews, the chews helped take the edge off of the stomach problems. So between licorice chews and mastic gum, I basically ditched Prilosec within a matter of 2 weeks. By the end of 6 weeks of taking that, it was like I never had a stomach problem, and I have not looked back since. Look into it. Mastic gum, licorice chews. But probiotics are one of the things that you find, you see yogurt companies talk about. There's probiotic pills and probiotic chews you can take. The probiotics are the good bacteria for your gut. They help fight or keep down the bad bacteria, help keep you from getting stomach problems, stomach issues. Now there are prebiotics. They found out that there are prebiotics. Now, what is a prebiotic? I went down this rabbit hole quite by accident. Prebiotics are basically the food that feeds probiotics. You probably may or may not have ever heard of this. Probiotics are the live bacteria found in certain foods or supplements, and they can provide numerous health benefits. Prebiotics, these substances come from the types of carbs, mostly fiber, that humans can't digest. The beneficial bacteria in your gut eats this fiber. The gut bacteria, collectively referred to as the gut flora or gut microbiota, perform many important functions in the body. Eating balanced amounts of both pro and prebiotics can help ensure that you have the right balance of these bacteria, which should improve your health. The bottom line is probiotics are beneficial bacteria found in certain foods or supplements. Prebiotics are the types of fiber that feed the friendly bacteria and digestive systems. Now, what's the best way to get prebiotics? Fermented foods are a great option. Probiotics are found in a lot of things such as yogurt, stuff like that. When you get down to the prebiotics have a place. They're in like your grains, stuff like oatmeal, bananas, things like that. Look it up. Between the two of those, prebiotic and probiotics, your life can be severely or affected basically positively to the nth degree. I mean, it could really do a lot for you. There's even evidence, and I was looking at this over the past week, checking some of this stuff out. Don't know where I fell down this rabbit hole, but especially there's some studies in nutrients and nutriingredients.com. Kind of a weird name for a magazine, but studies reveal mental health benefits of prebiotics in young females. Evidence from the double-blind study suggested that the efficiency of your prebiotics is particularly pronounced in young adults with trait anxiety, although significant reductions in state anxiety levels were also observed. Now, state anxiety is reactive anxiety. Trait anxiety is personality-related anxiety. Previous research suggests that modifying microbial diversity through the intake of psychobiotics, which is probiotics and prebiotics, helps reduce stress, anxiety, and depression in a matter of days, as well as improving brain function. The findings at Surrey University support prevailing theories on benefits of prebiotics, but this study focused specifically on young adults from late adolescent to early adulthood, which is considered a key developmental stage when nutritional supplementation has the potential to offset health-related illness in later adulthood. So they went on to describe the study method, all that stuff. I won't bore you with all that stuff. But basically what this says is a lot of anxiety problems, a lot of problems with personality-related anxiety or reactive anxiety, stressors, things like that, have a lot to do with your diet, more about your diet than what you really think. And GR, you're right. Oatmeal, yogurt, peanut butter, breakfast has been a good choice. Some of those things are what I take daily. Yogurt, peanut butter, a lot of stuff like that. Bananas. I eat a lot of fruit, banana, apples, dried fruit, things like that. That's become one of my staples for my diet. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference with your attitude. It makes a difference with how you live. It lowers your anxiety levels. Prebiotics, it's something I've just run across, that I really never noticed before, but they're out there, and they're some of the food you can take promotes your well-being. Now, I know they're saying it really improves overall well-being in 18 to 25-year-olds, but you can't help but notice that, it will probably help you out in your older age. If you're getting old, like me. So there you have it. Prebiotics and probiotics. Add those to your diet, write them down, look it up, do some research, find out what's best for you. Now you're going to be a little bit healthier. You might live just a little bit longer. That is if we don't get taken out by an EMP or a corona mass ejection. One of those two. Thank you so much for joining me on I Do This for Free. I'm drawing a close to this just a little bit early because I just want to make a little bit of an announcement. I'm taking a break for a while. For the next several weeks, you're going to hear some replays on I Do This for Free. It's getting to be summer, and it looks like I'm going to be quite active, and I'm scaling down just a little bit. I'm going to refurbish and kind of reinvent the wheel with my Friday night show. But for now, I'm going to be doing some bests of, some greatest of, taking a little time for myself, getting myself geared back up. I don't want to drop this show, or if I do drop this show, I'm going to replace it with something bigger, better, badder. We'll see what happens. But I just wanted to let you know, thank you so much for listening to I Do This for Free. I hope it has benefited you. I hope it has created a little bit of interest, helped you get through some times, helped you develop yourself, pick your interest on something. If I have, throughout the time that I've been doing this show, if I've gotten one person to realize something they didn't know before, I've done my job. That's pretty much all there is to it. I will be back Sunday night for Circumspice, the right side of Michigan. Next Friday night, I will be doing Hardcore Patriot. Oh yeah, we're keeping Hardcore Patriot. We're keeping Circumspice. Those babies aren't going anywhere. But this one, yeah, we're going to be taking some every other Fridays. We're going to be doing a little bit of revamping, a little rescheduling, and I'm going to come back bigger, better, badder. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. Everybody have a great summer. Be safe out there. God bless you. We will talk again soon.
Have to be like this.